Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations, a podcast that teaches you how to create a clutter-free, functional and simply happy life. I'm Narelle King, a professional organiser for Simply Happy, who supports families with practical steps to simplify their lives and create a more organised home. I'm passionate about supporting neurodivergent families and individuals like myself. I'm also a member of the Institute of Professional Organisers, IOPO, the professional industry body that provides supportive, inclusive network in the organising industry. They also provide opportunities for growth through their resources, professional development, like their conference they held earlier this year in Brisbane, and connections so that professional organisers can thrive as professionals. I've asked 5 members of the IOPO to share a tip or hack to help you in your home. We have Ali Roberts from IOPO Co, who shares ideas for reusing packaging around the home to reduce waste in your home. Jane from Zing Home Organising provides bedroom storage ideas to maximise space. Julie from the Decluttering Co offers simple storage tips for storing plastic containers in your kitchen. Maria from Organise My Life shares with you why you should consider decanting in your pantry and how to get started with it. Finally, we have Mel from Live Life Organised, who's going to help you keep your home clean with her laundry caddy idea. My tip, I'm going to share with you 2 tools that you can use in your home to help you with organisation. They're really simple, they're versatile, and they're inexpensive. So my first one is an S-hook, and these can be purchased from hardware stores, even online you can purchase them. I find them a really inexpensive, practical solution for organising. They are just so versatile. They come in so many various colours like silver, gold, black. Some of the examples that I've used S-hooks with some of my clients are hanging potted plants, like from a ceiling or from a hook, and even from shelves. I've used them for hanging pots, pans, utensils, dishcloths, oven mitts in the kitchen, and this is also going to help with saving space on the counter. I've also used them to hang scarves, belts, jackets and handbags, or bags that kids use maybe for sporting or other extracurricular activities that requires them to take items with them. And we've used them in the wardrobe or maybe at the front drop zone, where there's actually a hook and the S-hook can go over the top of it. I've used them to hang towels in the bathroom, your loafers, hairdryers even, bathrobes. Another one is hanging crafting tools like scissors and any other little things that you might be using that maybe have a hole through it so it can hang on it. And these just help to keep the workspace tidy. I love using them in garages, and this is for maybe tools or bikes, extension leads, which is one of my all-time favourite, especially the bigger ones. You can get really large S-hooks. Sports equipment. They're so useful for keeping things off the floor and maximising the space. The other tool that I really like that's really versatile and a creative thing to use are curtain rings. And these are great to use to hang and display like photos or artwork on a string or a wire. So it's like a gallery wall. I've used them in the kitchen and placed recipe cards over and cooking instructions. And so they're like a laminated piece of paper, a hole through it, and then clipped on with the curtain hook and then over the rod. I've used them on pegboards to organise and store craft supplies like, your scissors, dishy tape, ribbons. They're great for necklaces, bracelets, to keep them untangled when you're hanging them on a hook or maybe like a dowel. So you're now going to hear from each of those 5 guests, their ideas. They'll introduce themselves and their business, and then they'll jump in and share their tip.
Hi, I'm Ali from IOPO Co. I'm a declutter coach and professional organiser based in Wagga Wagga in regional New South Wales. I love environmentally friendly organising solutions because we need to be looking after our one precious planet. So my tip is about recycling packaging. Things like boxes, containers, cylinders, from those everyday items we purchase like vitamins, powders, even the small cherry tomato containers. They're great to use in cupboards and drawers. So areas like a drop zone or junk drawer, you can be putting keys or glasses or batteries, rubber bands, that kind of thing to contain them. Or in your office, you can use a cylinder to store your cords and chargers. Or in your bathroom, you might want to store your tweezers or lipsticks, there's small cosmetics just to put a little bit of containment there. One of my favourites in the kitchen is for those individually packaged items like your satchels of coffee. Just simply tear the top off the box and then you've created that fabulous grab and go access, saving you time finding those things. And this solution is also super budget friendly. So rather than buy, just keep a small selection on hand for next time that you're tidying or decide to do some decluttering.
Hi, I'm Jane from Zing Home Organising. I'm a professional organiser in Sydney. Narelle has asked me to talk quickly about a storage hack in the bedroom. Yes, a storage hack, not a bedroom hack. That would be a totally different podcast. First, I want to quote Peter Walsh, who was Oprah's declutter guy. He says, "Your bedroom sets the tone for your home and drives the energy that fills your space." I used to use my bedroom as a dumping ground for stuff. I wanted to close the door on my bedroom so that people couldn't see my mess. Now I'm a reformed character. I sleep better and my bedroom is a place of peace and calm. Like a lot of us, my bedroom wardrobe is definitely not big enough to store all my clothes for hot weather and cold weather. The way to solve my storage issues in the bedroom is to store out-of-season clothes and my special garments in a medium-sized stackable plastic container in another room, or high on top of my wardrobe. You could also use the space under your bed. I use clear plastic containers in the 27 litre to 40 litre size from Big W or other variety shops. I recommend buying plastic containers that are sturdy, not the El Cheapo ones that break apart when you handle them. A good plastic container keeps the dust and moths out and will last, and can be reused and repurposed for many years. The 27 litre containers are big enough to store clothes, but not too big or heavy to lift, and not too heavy when they're stacked. Shops have containers that are tall and narrow for inside cupboards, and ones that are wide and short to go under the bed. They're often on special and under $20. Places that I would check out are Big W, Kmart, Bunnings, Howard Storage and IKEA. Always measure the space they're destined to go in. There is nothing worse than finding a newly packed container just won't fit under the bed or in that cupboard. In my wardrobe, I also use slimlined hangers that are covered in felt to maximise hanging space and help items stay on the hanger. If you use hangers that all look the same, the space looks more organised as well. Most variety department stores like Kmart and Big W sell large packs of these hangers very economically. The last piece of the puzzle for organising hacks in the wardrobe, and you probably can guess what it is decluttering. But that is a whole big subject that us professional organisers bang on about all the time. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've found these hacks useful and a way to start enjoy spending time in your peaceful and uncluttered bedroom.
Hi, I'm Julie from the Decluttering Co in Melbourne, and I'm going to talk about the dreaded Tupperware or plastics drawer/cupboard where we keep containers and lunchboxes. This area of the kitchen can be a real sore point for people because there are often mismatching pieces in there and a lot of frustrated rummaging goes on trying to find the right container and lid. So we want to get everything out, spread it out and play the matchmaking game. During this process, I find it helpful to sort the containers into size and shape to assist me in finding the right lid. So then we put lids on everything we can and get rid of anything that doesn't have a partner. If you have any solo tubs with no lids, you might be able to implement them sorting your pantry or drawers. For example, a large one might hold condiments or baking items in your pantry, and a small one might hold elastic bands or bread tags in your drawer. If not, there might be a community house near you with a plastics matching program. I know there's one at Thornbury's Span Community House, for example. But otherwise, look, just pop the solo plastics in your recycling bin or rubbish. Get them out of your plastics collection. Then we want to store our plastics with lids on. I know what you're thinking, it takes up more space, but it's so worth it. You're much better off having fewer containers if you need to, rather than rummaging and matching every time you need one. I mean, like everything in your house, having high volume and just-in-case items might feel like the right thing to do, but it often makes things dysfunctional. The only exception to the lids on rule is if you have lots of identical containers, and in that case, nesting them is probably okay, but otherwise, lids on, people. So there you go. Happy matchmaking.
Hi Narelle, Maria here from Organise My Life. We are a professional organising team based out in Sydney. Our specialities are pantry makeovers, and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I have a few ideas and hints and tips to help you have a more organised pantry and an organised workflow as well. First of all, we always suggest trying to contain as much as possible, but you do need a larger pantry for this. If you haven't got the space to use canisters to dispense things like pasta and flour, then we recommend using a container and putting your bags of flours, your bags of pasta, and even using a peg off the washing line just to seal it at the top. Because one common problem we see all the time is pantry moths. And unfortunately, the pantry moths, they're already developed at the supermarket. So it doesn't matter what you do, they're going to be there. An idea and a tip to overcome this is when you bring things home like flour from the supermarket, freeze it first. I know it sounds crazy, but it does kill off any pests inside the bag even before it's being opened. So just freeze it for 24 hours and then take it out and then either dispense it or use a peg, like I say. Now, if you are dispensing, then be mindful that when you buy a new packet of flour or packet of pasta or a packet of dried beans, that you're not just putting the new lot on the top and leaving the old ones underneath. Make sure that it's fully used up, and then you can wash your container out if you want to before putting anything new in. We like to also use a chalk marker, and we just write the date underneath that we added the contents into the container, and that way you know how long it's been there for. When dispensing anything, we always suggest just dispense the things that you use all the time. They should be regularly used items. So that's why we always talk about rice, pasta, flour, sugar, coffee. Don't start, dispensing lentils if you're only going to use them twice a year. That's just not something that you should be dispensing and wasting space on your shelf as well. Another idea we like to use for pantries is, when you have those wraps that you can use for sandwiches or tortilla wraps that you use for fajitas, we like to use one of the stationary file holders that you usually keep magazines or files in upright. And that way, everything just stays upright rather than being all floppy on the shelf, and it just keeps it really neat and uniformed. The last tip I would say to anybody to keep an organised kitchen pantry space is to check your dates. We always have things that are out of date. Get rid of them. Start as you mean to go on. Use what you buy from the supermarket. Even if you're shopping monthly, things shouldn't be going out of date, and unless you're buying things that you just fancy rather than things that you actually need. If you can continue doing it this way, you'll actually save money in the long run as well. So I hope you liked our little tips and ideas there. And thanks again for having us on the show.
Hi, I'm Mel from Live Life Organised, and today I'm sharing something that works really well for me, a grab-and-go cleaning caddy. Organising our laundry space often means going beyond the dirty clothes. It's also about simplifying our routines. If your cleaning supplies are scattered around, it can feel like a chore just to gather everything before you even start cleaning. Having a ready-to-go cleaning kit saves time and keeps things simple and manageable. So gather your essential cleaning supplies into a carry basket or a caddy that fits neatly in your laundry cupboard. When it's time to clean, you just pull out the basket and take it with you around the house. So to set it up, choose a compact, easy-to-carry basket with a handle that can fit into your cabinet. I've had mine for years, but you can pick them up at Bunnings, Spotlight, Howard's, or any of the online stores. Then stock it with your basics, so everything's on hand. So your multi-surface cleaner, glass spray, microfiber, cloths, and any must-haves, so that there is no back and forth to the laundry room. When you've finished, return it to the same spot after each use, keeping everything ready for the next time. This grab and go caddy system makes cleaning quick, organised and effortless, transforming your laundry cupboard into a streamlined space and making each clean feel smoother and more enjoyable.
Thank you for joining me for today's Simply Happy conversation. Would you like to have a home for everything and easily be able to find the things you need during the festive season? To help you have the best Christmas season, I've created an extra special free resource for you, the Christmas Declutter Calendar. Quick and simple ideas designed to give you immediate results in just 15 minutes each day. Feel more organised this Christmas and download your Christmas Declutter Calendar from simplyhappy.com.au in the resource section. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.